All right, folks, now we'll take a look at the tragic reality of black infant mortality. In the U.S., more than 23,000 babies die in their first year. Among those, black infants die at a rate twice as high as white infants. According to stats from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the infant mortality rate for black infants is 11.1 as compared to a rate of 5.0 for white infants, 5.9 for some Latino infants, and 4.0 for Asian infants. What in the world is going on that's causing black babies to die at such a higher rate in other groups? We speak with Camara Phyllis Jones on the phone from Louisville, Kentucky, to examine what is going on here. Camara, your assessment, what is causing this?
Well, racism is at the root of it. We have had these differences in infant mortality rates in this country for centuries, and people have been trying to at first ignore it, but then figure it out. And people were looking at all kinds of factors, but at the bottom of it, it is not, there is no basis in biology. That is, black women and black babies are not different from white women and white babies in their biology, but it's the intergenerational and present-day experience of racism that is at the root of not only black infant mortality, higher infant mortality rates in terms of infant deaths, but in terms of our cancer mortality rates, in terms of diabetes, high blood pressure, across all age groups, across all organ systems.
I don't think people also, Camara, I don't think people also quite understand when so we talk about black infant mortality. So let's even go beyond those black babies that actually die. Let's talk about those who even live. But I was attending the State of Black Children in America report released several years ago by Miriam Wright Edelman of the National Press Club. Jeffrey Canada said, if we want to deal with what's happening with black children, he said, you must go into the womb. He said, because even when a black child is in the womb, that child is actually falling behind a white child because of lack of prenatal care. So when it comes to lack of proper nutrients, I think those things, so when that black child comes out, that black child is not as developed as that white child is.
Well, that's true, and it's not only what happens in the womb, what happened when the mother was in the womb also impacts what happens when she's carrying a child. So there's intergenerational stuff. So it's nutrition. It's, you know, some of what we know and don't know to do in terms of reading to babies. But all of this, I don't want to focus on individual wombs. I want to talk about the society in which we live, which makes it the case that black women carrying babies don't have as good, don't have as high incomes, not quality housing, don't have the prenatal care is one part of it.
Right.
But you have to broaden the lens beyond what's happening to that individual mother and look at what's happening to black folks in this society.
Spencer?
Yeah, you know, we get caught up and say, oh, racism, it doesn't really mean anything. Those black people are talking about racism, right? Here we've got a study, right, that went through prenatal care, that went through all these other factors, and it said, nope, that's not the reason that black babies are dying. And they concluded that the stress that comes from societal racism, that this is real, right? This isn't like imaginary. This isn't something we're making up. There's something that's quantifiable about race that has an impact on our health, on our children, on our lives, and it's real. It's not imaginary.
Camara, go ahead, go right ahead.
And what I'd like to say is that when you say the word racism, many people say, oh, I'm not racist, you know, white folks. And you're like, oh, don't call me racist, or that was a long time ago. No, get over it, get over slavery. When I say racism, I'm clear that I'm talking about a system.
Correct.
Dr. Jones, we still can't drink the water in Flint. Many places, when you say racism, how do we address the impact of racism when it comes to things like diet, when it comes to nutrition, when folks only have fast food or no fresh vegetables at the grocery store, or they can't afford it? Could you help us understand? I mean, because when we talk about racism, that's really what we're talking about, the impact of race. How can these things be addressed as these children, as Roland has said, in the womb are being formed? Even the ones who make it out and who survive have still been given a kind of a crippling set of circumstances. How do we address those issues?
So you have to address those issues politically, and you have to address those issues by making sure that we have to address who's at the decision-making tables and who's not. We have to address what's on the agenda and what's not. So when you look at the the way racism operates, it operates through our decision-making processes at the structural, systemic level. So it is about valuing all of us equally. We need to mobilize in terms of political power. We need to mobilize in terms of putting Black Lives Matter on the agenda writ large.
Liz, hurry up, 20 seconds, go.
What specific systemic racist policy or action is impacting the health of these women?
You got about 30 seconds, Camara, go ahead.
Education in this country. So, you say, oh, I asked you a question about health. I'm going to turn it back to education. We are not investing in our communities, and we're not investing in our children. We are writing off so many of our youth and incarcerating them disproportionately. We need to value all of us equally. We need to have excellent investment in our communities, but especially in our children. We need strong social security around our families. We need to reorient the society so that, in fact, we understand the loss we're experiencing right now when our babies die twice as early as others.
All right, Camara Phyllis Jones, past president, American Public Health Association. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that Black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.